You're listening to Nothing But the Best. Right, let's go, nation. All right. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. As the nation is on fire, right? Everybody got a plan. Everybody got an action. Everybody got a solution to this thing, right? Oh, I digress. But we're going to talk a little bit about Dak Prescott, and we're going to go over the things that we need to go through as it relates to this team going forward. I will say this. Dak Prescott did sign the franchise tag for $31 million, which is more money than he can count, right? He didn't see this type of money his first few years, so $31 million is on the table. But what we are trying to figure out, Cowboy Nation, do you want to paint yourself in a corner, or do you really want to take a chance and say to yourself, let's just go ahead and get a 4-year deal or 4-year or 5-year deal and get this stuff out the way so that we can get other players in so we can get to the Super Bowl action, right? That should be the philosophy. That should be the groove. But we got Jerry. Jerry is a salesman. Jerry is a businessman. Jerry is a developer. Look, 15 years from here, or 15 years in the past, Plano wasn't even on the map. Frisco wasn't even thought of. It was just a whisper. Now that city, that area, that region, that place, that origin, everything around it is growing because of the mighty Dallas Cowboys, right? Build a $2.5 billion workout facility there and bring it in money. That is what Jerry Jones will do, and that is what Jerry Jones been doing. Hey, last year around this time, he bought a $2.2 billion, I think, energy company. But people fail to realize that that guy is a motivator, innovator, and that's what he does. But to the common folks, they'll look at it and say, hey, this team have no direction, they have no guidance. And on top of that, we understand that Jerry fell in love with Jason Garrett, and people are doing this. They're forgetting about Jason Garrett administration and only focusing in on Dakota Prescott, like he went 3 or 4 years consecutive of 8-8. Now, we've seen this particular staff before Dak Prescott was able to play in the National Football League, go 8-8. What? How many times? Somebody help me out. I forgot how many years we went 8-8 consistently, right? I digress. But let's listen in to, we're going to start off with Undisputed. The phone lines are open, 515-604-9318. That's how you can reserve your spot. The pin to get in is 709-148. And just how you can reserve your spot on this particular situation that we're going to talk about. And we're just going to go through everything as relates to the Dallas Cowboys and beyond. We're going to go through the way and the nature of how we got to do this thing. We're going to go through the talk tracks and the philosophy of the Cowboys. We're going to try to get everybody a chance and opportunity to speak their minds, to speak what they got on their hearts or what have you. And that's just how it goes. So let's continue to grind. Let's continue to find ways to get this thing going in the best way possible. And that's just where it goes from here. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to those that's on my Facebook group. I really appreciate you all that's there. Give me a few seconds while I pull up this right quick. Here we go.
Who said that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' inability to get a long-term deal done has been the most surprising event this offseason. One agent went so far as to call it a, quote, big miss for Dallas. So, Shannon, do you agree?
Absolutely. I've been telling Skip this for the longest time. Skip, I think the thing is now is that there's bad blood because that, and everybody keeps saying, well, he's more in line with Wentz, he's more in line with Goff. But those two teams gave their guys security with 2 years still remaining on their deal. And the Cowboys did not do that for Dak Prescott. So the question becomes this, Skip. I believe, and I think we're going to talk about this a little later, he's going to play under the tag this year. I don't believe they get a deal done by the deadline, which, if I'm not mistaken, is 4 p.m. Eastern time. I don't believe they get that deal done. So Dak plays well. I'm not saying he throws for 5,000 yards, he wins, but Dak plays well. You think he's going to come in and give him a discount next year? So guess where we are, Skip? We're at the exact same location where we are this year. And that's the problem. Dak says, you guys want me to give you a discount. You want everything. You want a discount.
Right.
You want the number of years that you want. What do I get? I played this contract out. I had to navigate all these injuries. Where Goff and Wentz, they got security in the beginning. I did not. So now they've gotten security with 2 years left. Jerry, you made me play this thing out. Do you know anything could have happened? Let's just say I'm Alex Smith. Unforeseen. Now, Alex Smith had made a lot of money. He was the #1 overall pick. He got paid by San Francisco. He got paid by Kansas City. And he got paid again by Washington.
All right, so let me go over the details of what he's talking about, Cowboy Nation. And here's the thing, and I'm not trying to say, okay, just give Dak whatever he's wanting. Let's give him $60 million a year type of situation. I'm not saying that. No, don't get my words twisted. What I'm saying is that, think about this. Goff, Wentz, they got money. They had bread. They had paper because they were drafted in the first round. So the money that Dak Prescott received was predicated upon the fact that he got drafted in the 4th round, which that's what his draft grade is. That's what he got drafted by. Nobody can complain about that. What Shay Sharp is saying is that the Cowboys should have reached out to Dak Prescott around year 2 or year 3, right in the midst of that contract, and say, okay, now it's time for us to extend you so that we can get you all secured. Dak Prescott didn't have a leg to stand on at all, because if you look at the end of 2018, yes, we made it to the playoff. Yes, we won a playoff game, but Dak Prescott market rate or market value was $22 million. And I recall and I remember in people saying, hey, I wouldn't give him 15. Guess what? Now you're willing to give him 22. Guess what? Now you're willing to give him 27. Guess what? Now you're willing to pay the man 30. See, the market goes as well as these players get signed and get their deals done. What happened, collectively speaking, is that Goff got his paper. Wentz got his bag. But before that time frame, Garoppolo got his. Oh, somebody else. I think it was Matthew Ryan or Stafford. One of those boys got their paper. The thing is that what people fail to realize is that you can't shortchange or underpay Dak Prescott when he's already been getting paid pennies to the dollar or what have you, and you see those boys get their paper when their stats or statistics or with their level of production is not far beyond Dak Prescott. So we got to speak from the ramifications of not just who the player is or what he's doing out there as it relates to the total win-loss ratio, but you got to look at the total production and what he's bringing to the table. Yes, Wentz supposed to be better than Dak Prescott. Yes, Goff's supposed to be better than Dak Prescott, but their numbers doesn't speak those things. Their level of production does not speak those things. Oh, but what about Russell Wilson? Well, if you compare 2016 to now, present day, and you put up Russell Wilson stats, and I'm talking about stat line by line, they are the exact same person. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail, but no, Carson Wentz and Goff, they deserve their paper. Well, don't Dak Prescott deserve his too? Oh, buddy, I tell you the truth. Let's listen to more what they got to say.
But let's just say that wasn't the case. And the injury, and the hope, Lord, please don't let that happen to Dak. But I'm saying Dak is looking at it like, nah, I need long-term security.
Yep.
Oh, $31 million, that's a lot of money. It is for 1 year. But when you see all these quarterbacks getting 60, 70, 80, $90 million guaranteed, Skip, he said, nah, Dak says, I can't do that. He says, I can't do you the same deal that Wentz and Goff got for the simple fact they had 2 years remaining. I have no years remaining. So you're going to have to pay a premium price on that in order for me to sign this contract. And so, Skip, it was a huge miss by the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, you can say what you want, huge miss or whatever. Jerry and Stephen Jones are not convinced Dak Prescott is their guy. Because if they were convinced, this deal would have been done.
Woo! Woo! Shay Sharp is speaking the truth. Look, you don't go get a Ferrari. You don't go get a Lambo. You don't get a Maserati or an Aston Martin and park it outside when you got a garage. Or you don't go buy something fancy and new and say, I'm just going to park it on the curb right here where people can put their crusty little fingerprints all over it. No. You covet those things. You do not sully and denigrate and allow the media to go back and forth. We just saw Chris Jones get his bag, right? For the Kansas City Chiefs. But we didn't hear the talk track of going back and forth. He's not worth it, or he's overvalued, or he's underpaid, or he's worth every penny. We don't see that split divide between the fans who think they know things about finances and stuff like that, and think they know about what the conditionings of what the players go through, putting their life on the line, putting everything on the line. We don't see that with the other organizations. But D-Law had to go through that. People talking back and forth, what he's worth, what his value, what we should get in return. Oh, not just him. Dez Bryant went through it. Who else? Can we just go on and on and on of all of the people that the Cowboys organization or Cowboys Nation had to go through and talk about worth and value? Like they are the ones out there on the field. Yes, we pay a high price for those tickets. Yes, we want to have bragging rights when we walk through the office and we can walk down like Macho and say, yes, we are the America's team. But you do not handle your business affairs just like this. You don't. But Jerry have came accustomed to this thing. People was going back and forth saying that Ezekiel Elliott, he's not worth this and he's not worth that. And all Ezekiel Elliott did was play football when it was time for him to play football, was the number one leading rusher in the NFL. But people will credit everything else but accredit Ezekiel Elliott for his hard work. Now, of course, he's not a choir boy, yes. But at the same time, I think the way that Christian McCaffrey got paid, that should have been the way Ezekiel Elliott got paid, right? I think the way that Chris Jones just got his bag should have been the way that D-Law got his, right? Oh, I think the way that Pat Mahomes, although it's a nice contract, big money Mahomes, he deserves every penny. But I think the way that the Kansas City Chiefs handled that situation should have been the philosophy and the way that we handle ours. But I've seen so many people go back and forth with even Amari Cooper. Like 2018 didn't exist.
I was with you until your last statement, and then you lost me. Back to Jenny's question. Big miss? Yeah,
Big
it's
miss.
a huge miss. It's a horrendous miss. It's an excruciating miss for Cowboy fans. It should have been done a year ago, and it didn't get done.
Right.
But here's the bottom line. And all that matters at this moment, it would be a much bigger miss to give Dak Prescott $42, $43 million a year right now. And you have to frame it with what Jerry has done here just recently with his Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones has a long-earned reputation for overpaying. He's the king of overpaying in the National Football League. He gets too close to players, although he's not that close to Dak.
Right.
But he gets too close, and he goes too far to make them happy and to take care, quote unquote, of those players. So we talked yesterday. We had the argument about most overpaid Cowboy right now. Well, you can debate it all day and all night because there are a bunch of them. But
All right, so before he goes into that situation of saying overpaid Cowboys players, so why did the overpay account? Oh, this is why the overpaid account. Because here's the situation. The reason why the overpaid situation account, because Jerry Jones allowed these guys, for example, D-Law. You guys remember when he was looking for his bag the first time, it was like 13 to 14 million. Then they said, okay, we're going to slap the franchise tag and prove it to me again, right? And he proved it to them again. He put up 10 sacks or something like that. I think it was close to it was a double-digit sacks or what have you. And then all of a sudden, that 14 grew to what? 19 to 20 million, whatever he's getting paid. That's why D-Law is getting paid more. Because Jerry Jones. You should have went on ahead and paid him the first time. Or you should have rallied those picks together and traded them. Or you could have did other things to get that bag. But I tell you what, he didn't. And that's what we're seeing, and that's what we're experiencing. Like I said, Dak Prescott, if you were to go ahead and give him the money, to 25 to 26 million at the end of 2018, we would not even have this conversation.
But Zeke, you could argue, he was ranked by Pro Football Focus last year the 10th best running back, and he got the most money at that point any running back had ever gotten. DeMarcus Lawrence has a horrendously overpaid contract right now. He was ranked among edge rushers last year 13th overall. 13th.
But he's making top 5 money.
He's number 3 on that list behind Khalil Mack and
Aaron Donald.
2 plus 2.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Amari Cooper is making $20 million a year. He's ranked the 10th best receiver. What?
So he's making top 2 money.
Yeah.
And he give you.
Okay. So now we come back to Dak Prescott. He was ranked by Pro Football Focus the 11th best quarterback last year. Before the year started, the entire NFL was asked to rank players in the top 100, to vote for your players who belong in the top 100.
Right.
He didn't make it.
Right.
Then he didn't make the Pro Bowl last year, and they went 8-8. And he missed so many key throws last year that he has not missed in his previous years. And he started out like gangbusters and tried to break the bank, and Jerry thought he had a deal going into game number 1 and told the reporters it is imminent. And they said imminent meaning what? Meaning days. Thought he'd get it done the first week of the regular season, just right after Zeke had gotten done at the end of camp. Didn't happen. He had 3 huge games against not very good teams. And here we went. Last 13 games, he was ranked 15th overall by Pro Football Focus. You gave him Fs 7 times, and you can make a case he deserved Fs in those games.
Break
at
it down.
New Orleans, at Jets, Green Bay, Buffalo. These are hurt for me and bring
Green Bay and Buffalo was at home. There wasn't no.
Green Bay and Buffalo was at home. All right, so let's go over those games. Let me go over the Saints game. Okay. So the 2 pass interference, and I have to go this. I have to bring some objectivity to these guys. When we talk about the PI call that was called on Amari Cooper, was that somehow, one way or another, Dak Prescott fault, or was that the officiating, or was that solely on Dak Prescott? I just want to know, Cowboy Nation, was those 2 PI calls on Amari Cooper that was taken away for the first down, pivotal game? It's not like the Saints routed us 38-0. Let me know. Help me out. Just objectively speaking, were those 2 PI calls, pass interference, that was first called in the history of the game? 2 pass interference, offensive pass interference, by the way. Was that Dak Prescott fault? Or was that the officiating, right? What who fault was it? Okay. Now when we go talk about the Jason Witten, a sure hand, a veteran tight end, a guy that you can say, reliable. When he wanted to play basketball with the football, was that somehow Dak Prescott production or Dak Prescott fault? I'm not trying to make this thing a Dak Prescott apology, but I just want somebody to cut it real clean with me. And on top of that, the previous week, we had one of the people to call in that worked on the staff for the Dallas Cowboys. what's his name? Oh, Philip Tanner. He said the whole game changed. The whole game plan done changed from the Miami game to the Saints game. You want to know why? Because in between that time frame, Dak Prescott rep or scout or agent reached out to Jerry and said, okay, that first contract, you can toss that up. 90 million guaranteed is not enough. We want some of that 105, 107, 110 guaranteed type of money. All of a sudden, they did not give Tony Pollard the ball at all? Who does that? You seen the guy bust open the league wide open, 2 running backs back-to-back, 100-yard rushing. But all of a sudden, he don't give him a snap? And I'm not even talking about the Ezekiel Elliott fumble that didn't happen. Oh, my goodness. And special teams, Greg Berry, really appreciate you. But all I would sound like is a guy that making an apologist for Dak Prescott. Somehow that game, a playoff team, I guess, was on Dak Prescott. If he was better, right? if he were to able to say, okay, the football that fumbled when Ezekiel Elliott fumbled the ball is on me. It's on me because I'm the quarterback. It's my fault. I can't make this stuff up. Oh, my goodness.
That's what I mean. And at Chicago, and then at New England.
Trubisky. We just talked about his Trubisky.
Yeah, at Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And then at Philly, Dak had a firm shoulder. He was banged up, didn't practice that week. But still, they couldn't even beat what was a below-average Philadelphia team. They were below average. So here we go into contract negotiation year, and they yanked the rug out from under Jerry, and bad blood started after 3 games. They said, Jerry, our price just went way up.
Yeah.
Because I think they had agreed somewhere in the ballpark $35-36 million a year, which is he was going to be the top paid.
Hold on. That wasn't the 35 deal contract that they've talked about that they had agreed to. That was not the contract. I want people to go back. It was around $28 to $30 million is what they was going over. And Dak Prescott said, nah, you got to pay me. You got Carson Wentz and Goff getting at least 32 and 33 million. But this 35 somehow to slip in, and people fail to realize that wasn't until after the season, to midway after the season. Because a lot of times throughout all of this conversation, they said that, hey, they had not spoken to Dak Prescott agent since September. We went through the entire year. They have not re-intervened those contract conversational talks since September. But what they do is they say, he was offered $35 million week 1. No, that's not the case, nor the scenario. I would say Dak Prescott is foolish if $35 million was on the table week 1 and he said no. I would say, yeah, Dak Prescott camp is foolish. But that's not the case, though. But national media, they got over 5 to 10 million people watching this show. And I know that this is about a third of those people going to come back and say, okay, you see, Dak Prescott was offered $35 million. September the 1st, he was offered $35 million. He turned that down. He's greedy.
Football player, not just quarterback, at that moment. But we knew Mahomes was coming. We know Deshaun is coming. And Mahomes got around 45. We're going to talk about his contract. Some people thought it wasn't a very good contract for Patrick because it's just too long.
Yeah, but he gave up all his free agency.
He gave it up for 10 years. Well, Jerry's saying we need 5 years because that's their MO. They want longer contracts so they can prorate the bonus. And he's saying, no, I want 4 years. Okay, 4 versus 5. It's about the money. Show me the money. And it's 42-43 versus 35-36. And it's a huge leap in money for the quarterback. So Jerry looks at...
Because the guys you mentioned, Skip, you mentioned Zeke, you mentioned D-Law.
Yeah.
Dak is about to get what they got combined and what they got in signing bonus.
Thank you. He is. Because that's what that position dictates. That's what it's worth. If you're that good. Do even I, the biggest Dak defender supporter out there, do even I think he's Patrick Mahomes? I don't.
No.
So I can't make that case.
Right.
So if Jerry's drawn that line in the sand, I'm okay with it. Is there...
Let's be real with it. Let's be real. Who is really Pat Mahomes? Who are we going to go out there and say, okay, this is the next Pat Mahomes, so therefore we're going to pay him like Pat Mahomes? Pat Mahomes is an entity of himself. He's by himself. He's on an island. Pat Mahomes. It's just on an island sipping on some good Mai Tais by himself. Let's stop talking about, hey, this guy's not a Pat Mahomes. This guy here is not a Pat Mahomes. This guy there is not a Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes, right? Just like Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Eli is Eli. You know, all of these guys are independent of themselves. Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. And on top of that, if we start to compare and make our analysis, the first, look, I kid you not. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face, and I don't think that is possible as black as I am. But let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here's the situation. When we talk about quarterbacks and the system that they play in, with the show of hands for those that's watching this particular show, let me know of all of the glory and all of the good stuff that we saw from a Lamar Jackson. Would that be possible if Lamar Jackson was drafted for the Dallas Cowboys playing under Jason Garrett? Would he still do the exact same things that he's doing over there in Ravensland? Just like I said the other day, if you were to just have a magic wand and go back into time, and we picked up Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had Tony Romo, would Tom Brady still have 6 rings with the Dallas Cowboys opposed to Tony Romo at least having 1 ring with the Bill Belichicks of the world? I'm going to wait for those questionings. Remember, choose wisely, right? Look, coaching do matter. When Pat Mahomes went over to the Kansas City Chiefs, guess what was his knock? Man, the dude got a rocket for an arm. The guy's intelligent. The guy's brilliant. But he can't read defense. That's not my words. That's not my words. That's the agent's word, and that's Pat Mahomes' words himself, coming from the mouth. But he said that Reed and Eric Bieniemy sat him down, and they went over that thing line by line. They developed. They put him on the bench so that he can learn. Oh my goodness. But people think that this is Pat Mahomes year 1. He was able to read defense year 1. He didn't go through no growing pains. And the same Pat Mahomes that people saw for the first 2 quarters of the Super Bowl, that could have been the Pat Mahomes of his entire career. Oh, buddy, people don't understand. People just don't understand.
Their wiggle room is their 37-38 wiggle room, where tonight they could start talking and have that's how Jerry gets deals done. They had Mike McCarthy get done. They stayed up all night, beer and nachos until dawn.
Dak ain't having no sleepover.
No, not gonna have a sleepover. Maybe his agent would stay up all night. He might. Maybe it'll be tonight.
Skip, you at the point now, you know what it's going to cost you. You're looking at $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
If you want 5 years, Skip, it's going to be $40 million a year. You're looking at $200 million.
And
that's what you are.
Jerry has to look at a cap next year that might fall and might even plummet, given whether this season's going to go or not go, right? So he has to factor that part in. And yet, do I think he believes in Dak? I do. Do I think he thinks he's Mahomes? He does not. So where's the...
Does he believe in Dak like he believed in Tony Romo?
He believed in Tony Romo as box office. He knew Tony would sell for the right and the wrong reasons. Dak is not box office. Dak's just a franchise leader. Yeah. That's what he is. Again, he's not fun to watch. He's not exciting. He's not Cam Newton. Cam is like must-see. Every time Cam's on, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm not sure what's coming, and yet there's no real...
Since entering 2016 to present day, Dak Prescott won more games than Cam Newton. Quarterback accuracy was better than Cam Newton. All percentages and down the field of play was better than Cam Newton. And on top of that, of course, the ratings of games, of course, because he's playing for the Dallas Cowboys. So the craziest thing for anybody to say, well, Dak Prescott is not box office. Now, of course, people love the I'm down by 30 and I'm going to have this quarterback like Tony Romo able to wheel and deal and get us at least competitive or compete within the confines of a game. We love that. Matter of fact, we enjoy seeing those type of things. But the reality of it, Cowboy Nation, is that this team, people gotta realize this. Tony Romo is gone. The gunslinging quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys is gone. The Dak Prescott era is here. There's no Tony Romo on this particular team. On top of that, if you really look at it, hey, Brett Favre, when he left, he was gone when he played for the Green Bay Packers and entered the age of Aaron Rodgers. People fail to realize all of that stuff of going back in the past and say, what if this and what if that? It's over with. It's flat out over with, Cowboy Nation. And that's what I have to bring to the table, is that people gotta realize those things right there. You can't just sit here and say, well, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we need to do, and this is what we're gonna try to capitalize off of. The reality of it is this right here. Dak Prescott is the quarterback. Dak Prescott signed the franchise tag. Dak Prescott will be on his team for 2020. Now, 2021 is predicated upon what he does now. Now, I will say this. In order for the Cowboys not to sign him, what would have to happen for the 2021 season? The Cowboys have to go 1-15. The Cowboys will have to go, 2-14, 3-13. And I just don't see that occurring. Even if you guys say that the guy can't hit water if he fell off a boat, it's not going to happen, Cowboy Nation. It's flat out not. We got to understand that this situation is unique, and it's all because of Jerry Jones. It is. It's all because of Jerry Jones. We'll open up the phone lines in a few, but what I want to play here is this right here. I want to listen into this guy, Bill Polian.
From ESPN, Bill Polian has a new podcast called Inside Football with Bill Polian, and Bill's joining us now on The Fan. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Now, this is recorded earlier from 105.3 The Fan. Shout out to you, Stelios, man, for making the donations to help grow the nation. We're going to listen in to what he have to say, and I'll go give you guys my thoughts, my rationale of everything, and we will dissect this, and then I will open up the lines so you guys can call in and speak your mind.
I'm fine, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
Bill, how would you approach this Dak negotiation? How do you view it from both sides? Jerry and Steven versus Dak and his representation. And how do you see this playing out tomorrow or today?
Well, first of all, we haven't reached the witching hour yet, so there's still more than 24 hours to go before the negotiation period ends. That's point one, and that's important to keep in mind because the most movement that occurs in most high-level negotiations occurs at the very end, under the pressure of time.
Welcome, and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You're helping people.
The ceiling has been set. Patrick Mahomes doing that long-term contract recently is at least a benchmark that both sides will point to. Dak's people will say it's not enough, that's a bad deal. And Jerry and Steven will say, no, this is he's clearly the number one quarterback in the National Football League. Dak's not far behind, but this is what the number is. So at least there's a benchmark to look at that wasn't there before. So if there's any hope of reaching agreement, that's probably a good thing. I say probably because you never know what the dynamics of the negotiation are until you're in it. And sometimes when you're in it, you don't even know what the other side's hot button is. It's a hard thing to do. But Jerry and Steven are among the best at doing it. So, and as you know, Jerry's always, can pull a rabbit out of a hat at any given moment. So, when it comes to business, he has no peer in the National Football League. So that's probably hopeful. Having said that, if they've come this far, then and can't reach agreement, I think if you were a betting man, and I'm not, but if you were a betting man, you'd probably say that Dak has made up his mind to play on the tag. And if that's the case, then so be it. Dak makes a good chunk of money, and he plays for the Cowboys and continues doing what he did to help make that the number one offense in the National Football League last year. And when negotiations can resume, after this pandemic, which is going to change things dramatically on the field, I think, then they resume. So that's not a bad result for anybody. It's just a little bit of a gamble for the Cowboys and a pretty big gamble for Dak. But he's a young guy, and he may feel it's worth a shot.
Bill, I do want to ask you about the Mahomes deal and what you thought about that, but also, you know, as a front office guy, how do you weigh Patrick Mahomes is on one level, and then Dak Prescott's on a different? I mean, he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes. So how do you weigh that this is what the market has changed to, but he's not on the same player?
Well, the Cousins is the best example of what happens with quarterbacks. Certainly, other positions as well, but quarterbacks for sure. Whoever's on the market at the given year sets the market, right? That's all there is to it. It's not about how good the player is. It's about who's on the market and what the market is at that given time. That's why the union fought so hard for free agency. I was there. I was one of the negotiators, so I know why they wanted it, and it's because of this. This is purely market-driven. So if I were negotiating, the first thing I'd say is, listen, guys, we have the market now. It's Patrick Mahomes. Well, the other side's going to say, that's a bad deal. We're not going to allow that to be the market. In the end, that's the 500-pound elephant that's in the room. It's Patrick Mahomes' sign. Now, obviously, Dak's not going to sign for 12 years. That's for sure. And you know, who could blame him? But in terms of the money and some of the structure, principally the money. The structure is what you argue over, but the money has certainly been set because Patrick Mahomes is the market. So that's the way these deals are driven. Is Kirk Cousins what?
Now, what he's saying is that the market is the market, basically. It's not about the overall collective skill set of said quarterback. Just like when Carr got his money, you didn't see Aaron Rodgers saying, like, oh, wait a minute, the brother got 25? No, what happened was Aaron Rodgers was like, okay, that means I'm going to get a even bigger pot, opposed to what Carr was able to get. Now it's my time. And that's how you was able to see that crazy contract for 33. And then from there, within the middle of that, that is what set up the actual contract for Russell Wilson to get his 33 or 30-something odd $1 million. But in between there, that's why Jimmy Garoppolo got more than what Carr got. But it took Carr to get his first deal, the $25 million. So it's not about how good of a player the player is. It's about setting the market and what the market is rendering. And that's all I'm going to have to say on that. But let's listen to more what he had to say.
Worth what he got? No, absolutely not. But the market dictated that that's what it was at that time, and that's what the Vikings paid.
Bill Polian here on 105.3 The Fan. Bill, what is your evaluation of Dak as a player? I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's a great player. RJ is higher on him than me using some of the advanced analytic numbers. What's your evaluation of Dak as a quarterback?
My evaluation of Dak as a quarterback is that he's a very good player. No quarterback can play without people around him. Once they
Did we hear him say that no quarterback? I'm just going to repeat what he said. No good quarterback can play without players around him. Did you guys hear him say that? Is he a Hall of Famer? Is Bill Polian is a Hall of Famer? Y'all let me know. Let me rewind just a little bit.
Once they got the receiver and straightened that situation out, then Amari Cooper, then Dak began to prosper. They've added to the
let me rewind it all the way back. You know, I got to go all the way back.
My evaluation of Dak as a quarterback is that he's a very good player.
Right.
No quarterback can play without people around him.
Right.
Once they got the receiver and straightened that situation out, then Amari Cooper, then Dak began to prosper. They've added to the receiving corps, which has made it better. Zeke makes a world of difference for anybody. So he's got a great supporting cast, which he should have, and he plays well. This was the number one offense in the National Football League. I think people who don't delve into the numbers and look at them with an unemotional eye
Woo! I love the word unemotional eye. He said this was the number one offense last year. And are you guys able to hear that? Because I know some people, they're hard of hearing. Let me just rewind it again. I'm just going to let it play again.
Well, this was the number one offense in the National Football League. I think people who don't delve into the numbers and look at them with an unemotional eye don't realize that the Cowboys were the number one offense in the National Football League. The Cowboys' failure to advance in the playoffs and to get and to have a great season last year wasn't due to their offense. It was due to the fact that their defense was really not up to par.
Now, this is the same guy who helped get Marvin Harrison, Edge. Y'all remember Edge, Edgerrin James, helped to go get Dallas Clark, helped to go get, what's the other kid that lined up outside of Peyton Manning to help him out? Oh, my goodness. What was his name? Was it Wayne? What's Wayne's first name? I don't want to disgrace his name. What's Wayne's first name? So you had Marvin Harrison on one end, and you had Wayne and things on the other end. You had Dallas Clark, and you had Edgerrin James, and you had Peyton Manning. Let me know, did he win the Super Bowl with that original coaching staff? I want to know. I want to know what you guys, the football philosopher, and shame on whoever said, I'm going to pull your name up. He says, let me go over here. Dog, man, your name is gone. But you're on the YouTube, you're on the Facebook page. Said, yeah. He said, yeah, Lamar Jackson would be doing the same thing with Dallas Cowboys. You a lie. You know you lied. Lamar Jackson, first and foremost, they would have had Lamar Jackson trying to play passing out of the pocket. They wouldn't play to his strengths, and on top of that, they wouldn't have. They would have still had old Jason Witten out there, and they would have still had probably at the time Swain, or they probably had the other guy. They wouldn't have been doing the same thing that the Ravens doing. Come on, let's be real with it. Y'all know good and well Lamar Jackson. They would have said, "Nah, we ain't gonna have him running. We want our quarterback to pass him within the confines of the pocket." Reggie Wayne, appreciate you, DA. Appreciate you. The Cowboys 2019 season was not on the offense, but the defense was not up to par. This is from Grimes for your mind. Yeah.
Bill, real quick, we just finished year 4 with Dak.
Year 4.
When you had Peyton, year 4, I mean, it was up and down. I mean, you guys went 13-3, then you had a down year. You changed coaches. When can you truly make a decision on a quarterback and how great they are or how great they're going to be? Because I think 4 years is still not enough time yet.
Let me rephrase the question. How can you make a judgment on a quarterback when he hangs it up or when he plays 10 or 12 years? That's when you make the judgment.
True.
Now, how can you judge the efficiency of a quarterback and how good he may be?
Around by year 3, year 4.
Usually 3 to 4 years. It takes that long. He's a quarterback in the National Football League, exempt this season, by the way, because it's so untoward. But a quarterback in the National Football League doesn't reach full maturity until he's played 4 years. That's why the union wanted so badly and was willing to die on their sword to get 4 years free agency. That's just about enough time to get a feel for a player, not probably enough for a quarterback to be 100% sure, but certainly a good body of work. And with a long period for quarterbacks, a long period, probably 8-10 years in front of him. So, now is the time to say, what is Dak? And he's a pretty darn good quarterback, and there's still room to grow. He's going to learn a new offense this year, so he may take a step back, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. He still has the ability to do what you want him to do.
Facts.
Bill Polian with the new podcast, Inside Football with Bill Polian, joining us on the home of the Cowboys with Sean and RJ. Bill, we keep saying that Dak has the leverage because you have to pay the quarterback. You had a couple of good ones, so I don't know how much you really had to worry about that in Buffalo and Indianapolis. But can you see a GM having the guts to say, you know what? We're moving on. We're going to start over. We're not paying you the Mahomes deal, Dak. We're not going to take this to $40 million a year. You're not on that level. What's it going to take for a GM to do that? We know what happened with the Redskins, but Can you see that ever happening?
All right, before he goes into the details of that, I want to know your thoughts in the comment box. Do Dak Prescott got the leverage or he have no leverage at all? I want to know in the comment box. Post me your thoughts down below. I haven't heard up to this point of the interview, so I don't know as well. I really think that by Dak Prescott signing the franchise tag, that I think that he lost some of that leverage. My thing is he should have waited, because he had up until this point. He had up until tomorrow to sign the franchise tag. I think that he should have played a little bit with the Dallas. He should have played a little bit with the Dallas Cowboys owners, right? He should have said, okay, I'm not going to move until you guys give me a deal, an unbelievable deal. I think that Mike Fisher from 105.3 The Fan said that Dak Prescott camp want a bulletproof type of deal. Now here's the thing. I heard that Dak Prescott have not spoken to Mr. Wayne Jones since, I want to say, March. That's a long time, Cowboys Nation. He have not spoken to Jerry Wayne Jones until March. Tuck says all of the leverage. Perry Locke says he has the leverage. Okay, y'all educating me over here. All right, so let's see. DA, what's good? What you got? DA Lee, what you got? He got the leverage or not? Ivan, do he have the leverage or not? Defensive scheme wins. I bring it. Yeah. Defense, we all know defensive schemes win it, you know. Terry Bradshaw got 4 rings, right? Brad Johnson got a ring. Trent Dilfer got a ring. Come on, Joe Flacco got a ring. Eli got a ring. But the defense stepped up. Dak wanted that $31 million. I don't blame Dak for getting that $31 million, though. He looking at it like, man, I'm getting chicken feed over here for $3 million for 4 years. Matter of fact, Michael Gallup was making more money than me. He just came on his team a few days ago, right? Let's see. Akeem, what's good? He says, what leverage? He said, like, what leverage? Dallas Cowboys for life. Law Nation, Mr. Overpaid. Like that inside joke, man. Really appreciate you, man. Y'all check out Dallas Cowboys for life page. Eli got 2 rings. Yes. Let's listen to what he had to say. I'm interested. Yeah, I think that Dak Prescott have no leverage, but let's see what they say.
Yeah, I mean, look, anything can happen in sports. Dak could go out tomorrow and, God forbid, get in an accident and everything would change. Sports is a minute-to-minute, literally, situation, so anything can change. But as a GM, what you're trying to do when you have a good player at the most important position, that's especially true the way the game is played these days, you're trying to get a deal done. You're trying your best to get a deal done. Now, it may be that you can't do it. It may be, for whatever reason, a player doesn't want to stay. There's any number of reasons why a player would not sign, but you try your very best to get a deal done. And knowing Jerry and Steven as I do, and they're both friends, good friends, they're trying their darndest to make it work. Now, part of the problem they have is, where does his structure fit under the cap? And structure is what you have to have, because you can't have the quarterback alone. You have to have other people around him. You have to be, if you're going to go all the way, you have to be good enough to build a 53-man team, and that means using all the resources you have under the cap. So if what he's asking for is going to stress the cap to the point where you can't have a good team, that's another story. But we don't know what the numbers are, so other than what Mahomes got. So, it'd be foolish to speculate on that. But the bottom line is, I know they're trying to sign him. The question is, can they? If they can't, he plays on the tag. That's not the worst thing that can ever happen.
Bill, do you have any classic negotiating stories with Jerry or Steven? Something that, stands out in dealing with the Jones boys throughout your Hall of Fame career negotiating?
Well, we've done, a fair number of trades throughout the years. And I've served with Jerry on some committees. What you see is largely what you get. Both guys, they're exceptionally smart. They understand the business of football. They understand the football part of football, and because they both played, and they understand what they need to do with the Cowboys, and they have a plan for for doing and making the Cowboys, as good as they can be. So there's, making trades with them, straight up, honest. Here, we'll offer you this. No, we'd rather do that. How about this? Let me think about it. Come back. How about that? Okay, fair enough. Boom, done.
I think that that was the end of that episode there. But of all of what I recorded, I really think that, sometimes you can be too smart, right? Old folks say, man, you so smart, you stupid, right? So I do think, and I do know that Jerry and Stephen Jones are intelligent people. They're very brilliant as it relates to marketing, as it relates to putting the best deal on paper, as it relates to getting everything right in order, right? I do agree with Bill Polian on that aspect of it. I'll be foolish and unwise to say, man, these guys are idiots, right? When they made more money than my whole family can combine, right? And it can do all of the things as it relates to marketing and build cities, right? So I'll be foolish to say otherwise. 515-604-9318 is the phone line. 709-148 is the pin to get in. Shout out time, man. Don't forget to put down where you guys are from. I always love to know that. I always love to see that too, because we're the only nation that can have people from all over the globe, right? Canada, we got people from Australia, we got people right here from Mississippi and Dallas, right where I'm at, and we got people that's all the way in San Diego and Washington. So put down where you're from in the comment box. Shout out to your coach, man. Really appreciate you, Coach Trey. Here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. I'm not trying to say that Dak Prescott is the end-all, be-all. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you can will and you can deal, or you can try to bet and you can try to put all of these things together and it don't come through because you done gambled too much. I think that the Dallas Cowboys done gambled so much that now it's right in their face. Shout out to Longview, Texas. Jack Bynum, really appreciate you. Jackson, Mississippi. Dallas do great. Shout out to you, man, on all of the 601s in Hinds County out there. Arlington, Texas, Austin. Really appreciate you all. Thank everybody for tuning in. It is what it is. Louisiana, deep Saints territory. Yeah, fly my Cowboys flag proudly. This is from Grimes. Yes, indeed. Dallas from Lincoln. Yeah. Sugarland, Texas, down there close to Houston, Tennessee, Honolulu. Yeah, appreciate you all the way on that side of the world. Ray, appreciate you, Leesburg, Georgia. So we got people all over the globe talking and getting this thing going the best way possible. Here's the thing. When we start talking about contracts in general, we start talking about money on the top of this list. These are the big cap hits, and you can go to spoketrack.com. That's where you can get some of your information. I'm going to post the link in the description box. Let me just go right here. I'm going to flip it back. I'm going to post the link right here if it allows me to do so. There we go. Almost down. There we go. Post it right here so you guys can follow. And jump back over here. $31 million. This is why it's such a pivotal situation for us. $31 million does not allow you to go out there and get other people and get other things going and get other things moving. Other cap hit from the Dallas Cowboys is DeMarcus Lawrence, 21.9. That's a lot. That's a lot. For this year, I think his base salary is 16.9. Remember what I said by the Cowboys being coy with the situation. They could have got him at 14. They could have got him at close to the highest being is 15. But, they got coy with it. All right, so the other situation is Zach Martin. He's a big hit. $15 million, $13 million for Tyron Smith. What would happen here if Dak Prescott get this new contract deal? This $31 million will go away. It may be in the ramifications of maybe 13, maybe 14 million or 15 million a year. You can take that other money then from there and utilize it to go get your other guys that can help out this team. I really think that if the Cowboys are sitting back looking at it and saying, okay, we don't want to be in cap hell, But if you look at a 4-year contract, you can still, I think that there are such things as trade, right? Only person that I heard that don't have a trade clause in it is Pat Mahomes. But I think that you can pretty much wrap up a contract for the next 2 years, because even, let's say, for example, and I love to think like this, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Stevens from California. I love to think of it like this. Even if, let's say you want to get rid of Dak Prescott. Let's talk from those parameters. Okay, so in order for Dak Prescott to leave this year, we would probably have to go 1-15, 2 and whatever, 3-13, or it could probably just win only 5 games, right? Now, just off of the talent level along with this particular team, show of hands in the chat box, in the community box, how do you guys believe we're going to go 6 games, or we only going to win 5 games, or we only going to win? I know somebody going to say, what about if we go 8-8? What if Dak Prescott mirrored the exact same thing that we did last year and go 8-8 again this year? What would happen then? What would be the talk track? You have a quarterback now going 8-8 multiple times, right? What would be the talk track? Do you really say to yourself, okay, we will allow him to walk? Or do you sit there and say to yourself, okay, what's changed? We just rearranged the furniture on the Titanic. This thing is still going down. But who in their hearts of hearts believe that we're going to go 8-8, 7-9, 6-10, or 5-11? Who in their hearts and hearts? I personally think that we do 7-9 this year. This is CT Cowboys. If we do, that what would it take? Just joking, because Stephen Roscoe, really appreciate you. Stelio says 11-5. That's my prediction for the season, actually. So me and Stelios is right on the same page. Montgomery says 11-5. So nobody sees anywhere possible for us to go 5-11. If we go 5-11, even if we go 6-10, that's horrible for us. That's worse than going. To me personally, that's worse than going 3-13. Or 2 and whatever, because here's why. 6-10, 5-11, you will still not get the quarterback that you really need, right? You'll still be picking outside of the Rams of a good quarterback. You will have to draft and move up. And let's say, for example, we get the best quarterback in 2021. You get the best quarterback, let's say, for some strange reason, the Cowboys, with the collective talent that we have, if the season starts, we started off with this thing with only winning 3 games or 2 games, which will be a stretch, right? If Voch Lombardi said we going 20-0, shout out to my dog Voch Lombardi who keep the party. So if we even somehow, one way or another, go that route of going only winning 1 game, how long do you guys think it would take for that new quarterback to enter into the Dallas Cowboys with the triple pressure of the media and beyond that we have? And on top of that, being compared to not just Tony Romo and Troy Aikman. Think about this. He will be compared to Dak Prescott too, his rookie year. Because you will still have those that go out there and say, remember, Dak Prescott went 13-3. So JD says Trevor Lawrence. So if we go out there and get Trevor Lawrence, let's say, for example, Trevor Lawrence is your starting quarterback for the 2021 season. Never played it down in the NFL. Never had the amount of pressure as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. Because I saw what he played like against when he played with the LSU. And we can't say that he didn't have the talent there, I say. But I digress. I will say this. If you think that he coming into this particular system and he's going to go 13-3 and trump all what Dak Prescott did, and trump all what Tony Romo did, and trump all what Troy Aikman did, trump all what Roger Staubach did, and walk right in here, I don't think that is even possible. On top of that, we will have to, it will be crazy. We will have to go 0-16 in order to get Trevor Lawrence. We will have to. We will have to go 0-16. So who in their right minds would think that Trevor Lawrence would be the savior of the Cowboys, right? Who? How is that even possible? What's the other kid? Fields? What's his first name? Y'all help me out. Y'all help me out with his first name. Whatever his first name. Y'all think that he's the second best quarterback or the best quarterback coming out of the next year's draft? it will be hard. It will be just so hard, Cowboy Nation. It will be too hard for us to even imagine that to be even possible. Trevor Lawrence will not be in Dallas. I'm not impressed with him. This is from Georgia. Yeah. We'll get Trevor Lawrence. We get in at least 2 more rings. This conversation's going too fast. But I just don't see that even possible. D.A. Lee says, don't worry about it. Voch said we going 20-0, baby. Justin Fields, yeah, just for Cowboys vet 71. Man. Now, I will say this. Under Mike McCarthy, maybe, just maybe, you get a Justin Fields, and you're talking about a whole new window. You're talking about what, year 20, probably 27, 2028. Oh, now we going to the Super Bowl. We get Trevor Lawrence, it'll be a 3 years from there, you know. So it's 2022, 2023, 2024, maybe 25. That's when we get that mark. That's a long time. People, we got to look at this day realistically, you know. And for us to get those guys, we will have to really fall flat on our face. It's not a lot of us unwanted pressure that comes with playing for the Cowboys. Is from Nate Brown. Oh, yeah. Look, Pat Mahomes' deal came in through like a thief in the night. Nobody saw it. If they said they saw that he getting a 10 to 12-year deal, they lying. Chris Jones' situation came in and jumped in. I think they started. Look, it literally said the Chiefs are starting contract negotiation 2 days ago. I'm going to snap so you guys can see it. And just like that, he got signed. Just like that. It was no bickering going back and forward. It was none of that stuff. I even posted on my Instagram. I posted, I don't know if you guys can read the comments there, but let me see. Let me see if I can get to the comments. I can't even see it. No, it ain't going to allow you to see the comments. But I posted on my Instagram. I posted on Facebook. And I said, it's good to see. It's good to see a guy basically get picked up or get signed, and we didn't have to go back and forth. What's his worth? What's his value? Is he worthy of getting that paper? Or he's greedy? Or he's not worth the salt? We should trade him. We should get draft picks from him. Because he don't play for the Dallas Cowboys. Multiple episodes from First Take, Second Take, Third Take. Undisputed Cowboys. They should name that show Undisputed Cowboys, by the way. And Get Up, whatever the name of the shows that's out there. Man, that's dope. That boy look dope with that visor on like that, don't he? Don't he look dope with that Diggs? That Diggs going to be something special. That Diggs something nice. But Deadline makes deals. It does. I thought Mahomes was getting a 6-year deal. Boom. Six turned into 10 years. This from DA. Yeah. KC knows what they have. Laugh out loud. Yeah, they do know what they got. Golf. You saw Golf? Relax. He'll be signed. This is from Salad. Salad, as they say your name? Salad. Trey Lance from North Dakota State. I'll look him up, Troy. Worry about y'all team. Don't worry about ours. This is from Coach Trey. Shout out to you. It won't be when your quarterback won the Super Bowl. It was the MVP of the big game. After being the league MVP last year, no need to negotiate. Pay the man. Yeah. What about DiNucci? This is from McKee. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, 515-604-938. 9318 is the phone number to get in. The pin is 709-148. The phone lines are open for your mind. The phone line is open. Y'all call in. Don't rush to call the number now. I know it's a new system. I know that it's not the old number. So if you guys call in that number, please hit the other number up, because that number is no longer usable. My old number is no longer usable. So we going with a new system. The 515-604 number is the new number. And if you'd like to support the nation, let me put this down here. And we got about, bam, there we go. Let me see how many more minutes we got on this thing. But I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to the nation. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. We got a few more minutes, though. It's one. I've been live for 1 hour. Got a few more minutes here. DiNucci has a cannon, though. He got to the Vic type of flick to his wrist. This is from Harris. Quarterback strength as it relates to their arm is a good thing, but they got to be able to manage their game. They got to play with the lights on and the pressure on. I've seen Mike White videos, and people are like, man, Mike White, boy, is so accurate. He can circumcise a gnat with his throwing motion and everything. He's nice. But when those lights turn on, the boy turned into what's the guy Houdini disappeared on us. Yes, indeed, he disappeared on the nation. I'm in the queue. Lord, let me in. Let me see. I don't see your name here. Call back. Yeah, I don't see your name in the queue here. And that number again is 515-604-9318. 709-148. Let me know if you can get in. Let me know. Read some more comments. With a franchise tag being realistic, conclusion tomorrow, how is not signing Dak Prescott a good for the Cowboys in any way? This is from Steven Stevens. With a franchise tag being a realistic conclusion tomorrow. This is why it would be a horrible situation for us. Because $31 million is a lot of money against that cap. That's a lot of paper. That's a lot of coins. It is, flat out. Yeah, Cowboy shift. We haven't been able to get in. It's tripping. Okay. All right, let me see here if I can do it this way then. Spoils of war. I tell you. Technology. All right. Since they want to act all crazy, I'm going to get y'all conversation. One way or another. That's my mantra. One way or another. When they say, hey, when you're up against the life and miseries and trials and tribulations, you just got to figure out a way, and that's what life is all about. Shaking stuff off, standing on top of it. And it does give you guys a weird situation. No worries. Don't worry at all. All right, so here's what I'm going to do then. And I didn't want to do it this way, but sometimes you got to work yourself. You got to walk backwards, right? Some people walk backwards before they walk forward. Bam. Call that line, 682-214-4087. That's the old number. You can get in that way. How about that? Yeah, how about that? How you like those apples, right? And we'll figure this other thing out. Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So 682-214-4087, 980. What do you know?
Hey, what's going on, Law?
Nothing
It's
to
JD,
it,
man.
JD, what's good, man? Talk to me, man. What you feeling?
Hey, man, listen. I think Dak's the dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we got a really good offense that's gonna take care of him well this year. I think that we've been pushing him towards to be more of a pocket passer, and I think he's exceeding at that.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the Dak stuff aside, because I think that he's gonna be that guy, I think Diggs is about to show out as a rookie.
Yeah.
I think he's about to do things that Byron. I think that was such a wise choice for the Cowboys to just move on. I love Byron.
Yeah,
he was great, but you know, when we look at those turnovers, like when people talk about Jamal Adams, like I love Jamal Adams too, and I see his turnovers, I'm like, man, you know, do we really want to overpay for another Byron Jones? You know what I mean? Like, though Jamal could get in that backfield and make plays, you know, from that safety position.
Jamal is an animal within an animal of himself. I like what he can bring to the table, but realistically, I don't think that the Jets will give the power to the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't see that. But I do like the aspect of Diggs, number 31. He seems like he's polished. He comes from a football background. His brother played for the National Football League, so I think his brother gave him some tips. I just think that this guy is one of those guys that is really ready for it.
Oh, for sure. I think, and I think it's gonna turn out for our other boys. You know, I mean, I got mixed feelings about Cheeto.
Right, I do too.
You know, but you know, Lewis. I think Lewis. You know, every single time he came out there, he caused some turnovers, and maybe though I don't think that he could probably take Cheeto's spot as a cover corner. I think the turnovers are going to be more important to this coaching staff this year than it seemed to have been in previous years. But hey, I appreciate you having me on here, Love. But yeah, go Cowboys.
Appreciate you, fam. JD, salute. Good call, man. Good call. I had to jump back to the old way. Had to do the old school number, 682-214-4087. Look at that. Now you guys call it in, 409. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Lon?
What's good with you, man? Talk to me.
Man, 4 years, $40 million, bro.
4 years, $40 million. Let's get it out the way. Peel the scab off the womb and just let it bleed, right?
Well, actually, it's just you got a wound. You stop over here at the corner store. It's a little, marked up, but that's your only option at this point.
Right.
There ain't no Walgreens inside. There ain't no Dollar General. It's just this corner store that marks up everything. Ordinarily, you can go somewhere else, but you're not in the wholesale market. It is what it is. It's the market.
Oh, you know what? You just put something on my mind, man. Boy.
Come on now.
Oh, man, come on. I love analogy talk. Sometimes we can we can have a gash or a wound, right? And we try to self-medicate it ourselves, and we end up infecting it. Now it costs us more because now you got to go to the urgent care facility. Now you're in the urgent care, and now you sit there and say, "Hey, man, it got infected." And it costs you more money than all you had to do.
That $5 Band-Aid.
Right.
I'm tripping. I'm like, I can get these Band-Aids for $1 elsewhere, but
yeah,
you bleeding.
You bleeding.
Yeah. You sit up here, you get rid of that, you're going to be bleeding point blank simple. Y'all can talk about Andy Dalton, have all these little wet dreams about Ben DiNucci. Dog, stop.
I saw Colin Cowherd today pull up the trajectory of what Andy Dalton did compared to Dak Prescott did their first 4 years. And all I can think about is sitting there saying, yeah, those numbers look good. Yeah, those numbers look good for Andy. Yeah, they look very comparable. But people fail to realize, let me know who did Andy had to throw to for those first 4 years.
Come on
now. That guy is still out there, and he's still probably, if he can get back on his feet, he's a dog. He had a dog his first 4 years, and that defense was nobody to sneeze at. That defense was nice. But
I don't get it.
It's crazy how he would do that, and then all of the Cowboys fans would take it and put it back on me. Like he said, see, Andy Dalton is Dak Prescott, the same person.
With less upside. With less upside and less relevance to what today's NFL is.
Right.
And Dak Prescott, at this point, his genius is barely about to flourish. And you see that because you see him going up in the center in every top 5 category. You can talk about garbage yards, but you go back and watch every game the Cowboys were up into it, and they were in it. And if they weren't in it, it's because Brett Maher's dumbass done missed the field goal.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, point blank simple. I don't know. I think because we've been talking about this a year and a half.
Right.
We've been contradicting our own selves and going back, and it's almost made us delusional. And you hear these delusional statements like Andy Dalton. Are you serious?
At least it was better than Blake Bortles. Remember, it was Blake Bortles at the start of 2018. It's like, hey, Dak Prescott and Blake Bortles the same person.
Come on, man. And he's a top 10 quarterback, and at this point, 4 years from now, you're not going to be able to get a top 10 quarterback.
Right.
You're not going to be able to pick Trevor Lawrence. Nobody trying to go 2-14 to get Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Sorry. Nobody trying to trade 2 first-round picks, because you got to trade 2 first-round picks to move up 2 spots.
Yeah.
From number 4 to number 2.
Yeah.
I.e. Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if it really get that bad, a bunch of people are going to pass up on Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jacksons and Aaron Rodgers, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah. It's a crap shot. You're right.
It's a crap shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crap shot, and at this point, if you want to take the risk, like you said, of missing out and not paying $5 for that Band-Aid versus go ahead and addressing the wound right now, then
you're sure right, man. Appreciate you so much from the 409, man. Really appreciate you, bro.
Just a good little take, 409. It's a home of Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson?
Super Bowl winning, yeah.
Okay.
Coach Jimmy Johnson.
Coach
Johnson. Texas.
Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, fam.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Salute. Good call, man. Good call, man. Hey, when you call that good, man, and put that thing on my mental, man, hey, I got to.
This is Sparta!
Yeah, good call. 682-214-4087. That's the number, man. I had to do it that way because the other number, player hating on me, But 682-214-4087. I know what I got to do with the other situation. I know what I had to do, and I thought I could get away with it, but I couldn't. So I will say this, Cowboy Nation. Be careful what you wish for and dream for and long for. Because at the same time, do not spoil what you have. Do not spoil. 918. Put it down, 918. What's good?
Oh, man, Law, what's up, man?
Man, it's your world,
this
man.
Is from Tulsa, man. I called you yesterday. I think we spoke, man. I gotta ask you something, man. Just say you Dak Prescott,
right?
Okay, we 3rd and 3. You dropping your shoulder into Darius Leonard or one of them linebackers, and I'm only $31 million on the books this year. You trying to get that first down this year, or see? This is what I think. If I'm Dak, I'm gonna say this: if I'm Dak, don't call no read option for me.
Right.
I'm not running off read option. I'm handing it off every single time. So I kind of seen it last year too, Law. He was hesitant to take off running though. Now I know in the last game he had a shoulder injury and all of that though,
right.
I'm not okay with hurting myself this year. Now I'm getting these 2 years out the way, and then I'm gonna go play hard for somebody that want me. I'm gonna go hard for somebody that give me that 4 or 5 year deal. Then I'm running into linebackers on 3rd and 3. Then I'm scissoring into the end zone, doing all of that Lamar Jackson stuff. But I just think that's kind of hurting the team without the deal. And I know what people gonna say. How much do he want and all that stuff? We kind of discussed that the other day though. But I just think it might make you a half step. I might think about it a little bit more. Unless, I ain't reaching out, and I'm not trying to hurt nothing. I'm definitely not my right shoulder. I'm not putting it into nobody to get no extra yards or nothing like that. But I just wanted to enter that into the conversation, and I'm gonna step up.
No. Stay right here, because as soon as you leave, somebody else can call in. I don't have the whole
okay.
feature. But I will say this to answer your question. If I'm Dak Prescott and I got $31 million, whether or not I win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna get this $31 million. I can only elevate it if I play well, right? But if it's a situation, if it's 3rd and 3, and if I know the way they treated me when I played for the played against the Philadelphia Eagles, right? He didn't practice all that week, right?
Yes,
he didn't practice all that week, and he went out there, and it was still his fault. And nobody bringing up the fact that he had a bum shoulder, right? They only say, "Hey, nobody."
No, they're not gonna say that. They're not gonna say that.
That's what they said. You lost. You didn't win, right? And I would have that in my mental, and I'll sit there and say, "Man, I'm going to do this thing. I'm gonna put it on the shoulders of Ezekiel Elliott. I'm gonna put it on the shoulders of Amari Cooper, maybe an end around, because they gonna get their paper tomorrow. I'm not promised to get my paper beyond this 31. I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it.
And I hate that, man.
Yeah.
I hate that for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, because I might need him to put his shoulder into somebody. And then what? We down 3, and then he don't do that. We punting, and then we down 10. So It's just the whole dynamic of the team really lies on the he touched the ball every play. I need him satisfied. And man, I said he should have been in combo with Zeke last year. That's what I said. I said he should have went to combo with Zeke because this man needs to be. You can't run your training camp without your starting quarterback. How you gonna do that?
Yeah.
That did too much good guy stuff to me. He should have been one of them. What Brian brought his call. Brian brought it said need a couple of those guys. And he should have did that last year, man. Because I just knew it was. I just felt it was coming. Why do Dak, the model citizen, gotta act the fool to get some money? I just don't get it, man.
Right.
I'm gonna get off here for real because the kids outside law. I'm talking too long.
Appreciate you, man. Salute, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I ain't trying to kidnap and hold him hostage there, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? You know, look, Ryan Tannehill, shout out to him, you know, Texas A&M guy. We love him, you know, down here in Texas. But the guy played 8 games. And before he even get to his 9th game, they gave him $90 million guaranteed. They didn't even pay Derrick Henry. They didn't even give Derrick Henry a dime yet. They gave Ryan Tannehill $90 million out of 8 games. But I would hear people go back and forth and say that, hey, he was better than Dak Prescott. But when we look at it and we look at everything, there was a game that he only passed the ball for six attempts. They won. The quarterback gets all of the love. But when we start looking at it, boy, oh boy, 908, lay it straight.
What's going on? It's Big Pain back again, Eagles Nation here.
Big Pain from the Eagles. What's good with you, fam? Talk to me.
No, you know, I just had to let them know that it was Eagles Nation from the get-go because what I'm about to say, if there's any Eagles fans in here, it's gonna make it seem like I'm giving, like I'm defending Dak, but I'm just calling a spade right now.
Right.
And
right.
You know, and before I was an Eagles fan, I liked football, so I try to view everything as if I'm not an Eagles fan first, because if I do, then you know that could be like the 20 rated quarterback in the league if I'm doing it off an Eagles fan basis, you know. So when a lot of people compare Dak to Wentz, but I like to compare Dak's situation to Goff because here's the thing: the first year under Jeff Fisher, you know, people were saying, what's his name? Jared Goff like a bust, and they go ahead and get him his coach. They get him his coach early. Now he goes up, puts up 30+ touchdowns. You know, he relies on running game just like Dak. And then then Todd Gurley wears out. They go to the Super Bowl, but then within that span, he gets paid. See, the thing is, the things that Jerry Jones is doing is the things he should have did, like getting him the coach and getting him the weapons. He should have did that to see if Dak is your guy. So within that span, before you had to pay him, see if he's worth the money. Now you trying to make him prove it in his 5th year, and he's not doing it. And I'm not mad at him for doing what he's doing, because you get him the coach now when you should have been got him the coach. And that's the whole problem right now. They make him, now we gave you the coach with the weapon, so now you got to prove yourself. These things should have been proved. These things should have been given to him years ago.
And it's kind of like if this was to happen with your Carson Wentz guy, right? If you still had Chip Kelly, you know, as the head coach, and then you would sit there and say to yourself, well, I don't know what I really got out of Carson Wentz because I had Chip Kelly. Let me bring in somebody else as the head coach so that I can fully evaluate Carson Wentz. Or to make it on the flip side, I just did an interview. I didn't do it, but the 105.3 The Fan did it with Bill Polian. He had Mark Levy, I think, was the head coach for Peyton Manning. And let me bring up these weapons Peyton Manning had: a Reggie Wayne, a Marvin Harrison, Edge. You remember Edge? He was bad, boy. I mean, Edgerrin James. So, and we had a Peyton Manning out there as the head quarterback, right? But you couldn't get a fair assessment without changing the coach, you see. And of course, this is a whole different situation. Peyton Manning is transcending type of talent. but you had to put a better coach into the system because he knew that they was never going to go anywhere with that particular coach. So sometimes it takes coaching, but you got to figure out a way to also pay the quarterback or show some type of trust in the quarterback. At the end of 2018, $22 million was Dak Prescott collective market rate or market value. If the Cowboys were to say, okay, 18 was kind of like an up and down year, we're going to step on a ledge and give you the $28 million contract. Do you think Dak Prescott camp will say, nah? You think he would have said that?
They would have took it.
They would have ran to the bank and said, okay, we got $28 million stretched out of 4 years or what have you. That could have been his 4 year. Could have extended the final year of his contract and stretched this thing out. It would have been really a 5-year deal, but you extend it for 1, and now we wouldn't even have this conversation. The Cowboys would be talking about something else right about now.
Yeah, that's the problem with the whole organization. You know, we troll each other and all that, but at the end of the day, you know, one thing I can say is that, you know, some fan bases can get coaches fired. With y'all fan base, it's hard for y'all to get a coach fired within Jason Garrett. So it's hard because, you know, Eagles fans go and saying fire Andy Reid, fire Chip Kelly in the stands, and eventually they fired him. It's hard because, like, y'all have a solid team, a pretty good team right now. You know, the potential is there, but it's like when the owners, the thing is, it's hard to be a good football team when your owner is politicking. At the end of the day, he's controlling the narrative. So, you know, we won't give him a coach. We'll give him a coach that's a run-first coach. So he's not going to even show his arm. Then when he's able to show his arm, your defense is trash. So it's like, so now it's like, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you the coach, but now you gotta prove yourself. But he in his 5th year already. So all this stuff should have been handled prior to, and you know, I don't feel like that's how you're supposed to handle a situation with any quarterback. I don't care if it's Baker Mayfield. They fired about two coaches. They're gonna see if he's good or not. With how they got the talent, they got the coaches. And they try to see, because eventually they're going to move on from Baker Mayfield. If I didn't give you so many different coaches. Now, switching coaches all the time not good, but they showing him, they're trying to show him, they're trying to show that we believe in him. They got him Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, tight end.
Oh, my
they got
God.
Him all, they got him all, like, if Wentz had that, it would have been crazy. But Wentz also, my team, at least I'll take the GM, the coach, and the big boys up front over all that talent and no coach, because I've seen a good team with Chip Kelly get destroyed by a bad coach and a bad GM.
Yeah. Man, you good, man. Boy, big pain, right? B-I-G, pain. Boy, I'm telling you, man, the Eagles guy that's speaking some good Eagles content information for our mental, man. I'm perplexed. I'm baffled over here, man. I'm appalled, basically. So really appreciate you, bro. Talk to me.
No doubt. You know, and that's why I have us winning the division. It's not because of the. And that's why when I say the Eagles gonna win the division, it's not
hold on, and you can't come on this channel saying listen, us. You can't say us though. You got to say something else. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. This is why I have us winning the division because of the belief. It's not, the talent is there. Like, I don't have If Joe Flacco could win the Super Bowl, if Nick Foles could win the Super Bowl, if the old Ravens quarterback before Flacco could win the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure Dak could win the Super Bowl. It's not about his ability. It's about the team, the ownership, and everything. And it's like they're betting on Dak to fail next year. That's what they're basically doing with this franchise. And you're not supposed to do that with your quarterback.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're not supposed to do that with your quarterback. You're not. That's the only thing I got to say about that. You're not supposed to do that. I have no problem with the Cowboys failing, you know, as an Eagles fan. I want that to happen. But I see what's going on. Like, I recognize what they're doing over there. And it's like, you know, it's wrong on the aspect of him for Dak Prescott, because at the end of the day, you take all the fan stuff away. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing another black man get his money. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, I would love for him to get his money. So it's not even. I want him to get paid. I want him to get paid. So when we beat y'all, it's fair and square. It's not no excuses. These narratives that hang over the teams is relevant. That affects players.
Right.
Like they didn't mention this about how Kirk Cousins is trying to prove himself and how he did bad on the Redskins. This is the same thing that you might see Dak Prescott like, you're not running the ball this play. I got to get my money. Like somebody going to go route real quick. Like that, this stuff can all be handled easily, and that's just that right there. On Cowboys fans, y'all should be done sick of Jerry Jones by now. That's the main thing. Y'all should be not liking him as much as y'all don't like us Eagles fans, because the way we hated Chip Kelly, we hated him just as much as we hated everything else.
Yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying about this situation with us feeling towards Jerry Wayne Jones, but you know how that thing goes, right? That's one object that is going to be hard for us to really move from out of our minds and our mindset. So, but I feel what you're saying, man. I really appreciate you so much for calling in, Big Pain. I'm gonna try to save your name in here, man, so next time you call in, I know exactly who I'm speaking to from the 908. Okay. But appreciate you, fam.
All right.
That's a good call from Big Pain, man. 682-214-4087. Big Pain from the 908, Eagles fan. He spoke some good stuff, man. I can't even counter some of the stuff that he said because it's facts. And you guys know how I love facts. It make my beard hair grow, make my teeth white. It just does all of the good stuff for you. And when I look at this Dallas Cowboys team, I say to myself, man, good old man, if they can just change some of the ways, if they can just covet some of the things. And I love like my people, like from 105.3 The Fan. I love our insiders, but sometimes I think our insiders be speaking too much inside stuff. Like Fisher came out the other day, or I think it was today, saying that, hey, the Cowboys are not interested in Jadeveon Clowney. What would that give to the people? How is this valuable of broadcasting to everyone that we're not interested in certain said player? Don't you think that it would be better if we can just keep or remain silent and don't tell people our intentions, or don't tell people which angle we are going at? Should it be like some of this stuff could be behind closed doors? Shouldn't this be like Njoku leave up to, hey, maybe the Cowboys are, maybe they are not interested? Wouldn't that benefit us down the line in the long run, opposed to us having every bit of information out there, and now people can use that, counter that, and push this thing out and be like, yeah, the Cowboys are not interested in this guy, or the Cowboys are overly interested in that person. And then now you have all of this narrative stuff going, and now you show your hand, and we end up getting bitten by it, right? D League, really appreciate you. Never seen a guy 4 years in the league, no losing season, improve on the deep ball passes, explosive plays, has the leadership qualities, pretty much. And we got a phone call. I'm gonna read the rest of it. D Link, shout out to you, the 3112. What's good?
What's good? Just want to come on and yell at you. Actually, I'm calling from Brazil. I'm running through my number in the as well.
Brazil. Okay, speak up a little bit, man. I can't hear you, fam.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a whole lot better, man. Talk to me.
I just want to stress a little opinion. We got a bunch of Cowboy fans down here in Rio de Janeiro. I've been a Cowboy fan since 1965. Went to my first game in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to talk a little bit about the Dak Prescott game real quick.
Okay.
Dak is the only quarterback that when they talk about wins and losses, is Dak. Who coached the team the last 4 years? Who's had two sets of outstanding talent and could not do more than 8-8? It's like Jason Garrett never coached the team.
Right. It was coached by Dak Prescott, right?
It's coached by Dak Prescott.
Right.
So in my thing, you know what? Jerry Wayne Jones waited. Dak has no more time on his contract. So now you either pay the piper, well, you're going to have to pay the piper, or let the piper go.
Right.
And what I see, and what I'm praying will happen, they're going to get this deal done at the last minute so Jerry Jones can have the headlines all to himself tomorrow, waiting till everybody gets signed, and he go on and do what he needs to do for Dak, because Dak virtually saved our franchise.
He did.
Tony Romo went down. Brandon Reed, those are beautiful balls. If I have to go through that again with Jerry Wayne Jones for another 20 years and not see another Super Bowl, I'm going to commit suicide because I am 55 years old, living in Rio de Janeiro, and my neighbor happens to be an Eagles fan. So
Wow.
For me, it's about coaching, man. People forget that Dak really has not had – Patrick Mahomes would not be Patrick Mahomes without who? Andy Reid. And Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, yeah.
People forget about that. Carson Wentz would not be the quarterback he is without his head coach. If you look at top quarterbacks, they all got one thing in common: good coaching.
Right.
Good coaching, and you can't be one with the other, and you can have success without the other. You got to have that good coaching. And he's only had two coaches, I would say. I think Romo coached him up a little bit because Romo was just that type of guy. And last year when they brought in
John Kitna,
what his name, the quarterback coach,
John Kitna.
Kitna helped him out. Kitna helped him out a whole lot. And so he's only had two coaches in 4 years, but every year this kid has progressed as a quarterback. So I'm gonna get going, man. It's like 7 o'clock here in Rio.
Wow.
We on serious quarantine. 19 is really bad down here, man, because our culture here is overly social. People want to go to the beach and have barbecues, and even though it's our winter time, our flu season's picked up here.
Wow.
So, people are scared to go to the hospital because if you got flu symptoms, the first thing they scream is, "Oh, you got COVID-19."
Right.
You got a lot of folks staying at home trying to self-cure themselves, man. So it's kind of scary down here right now. But God willing, we'll pull through this. But,
and you will, man. And I'm praying. Praying for the whole country down there.
Well, thank you, man. I just want to say blessings to you, Law Nation. Follow you a lot. One more thing. We're going to be launching our professional football league down here in 2022, the NBAFL. So I want the brothers to get to start watching for us. We're doing professional football down here in Brazil. We're going to be launching 8 teams. We got some big-name owners. So we're not going to be the NFL, but we'll be what Major League Soccer is there. We'll be the same thing here in Brazil with American football. So I want to say thank you all. Blessings, everybody, and I'll talk to you again. And, man, you do a great thing. I love the music.
Appreciate it, brother.
Some of the music clips down there, man. You be bumping some serious bumps, man.
Yes, indeed,
so
man.
You and the family, man, and, go Cowboys.
Yes, indeed, man. Appreciate you. All the way from Brazil, 3112, but he's all the way from Brazil, man. He spoke nothing but the truth with the coaches. People. You got to have a coach. Yeah, I cannot stress this out enough. It's numerous movies. Remember the Titans. They had a coach. Remember that. Even Coach Carter, they went and got a coach. That in that movie, in that picture, there's is showing a display of real life events, and I love when people call in and show their love and adulations for the nation. What we have, Jerry Jones doesn't step out from his own way, law. This is from Mawini. I hope I said your name right, Karam Mawana. I hope I said your name right. Jerry Jones been the good and bad guy for us for many of years, but we love Jerry. It's like a love-hate situation, and we do love our insiders. We love all of our media people. They give us unbelievable coverage, unbelievable intel as relates to player operations, but sometimes that could sully the waters, and now teams will be able to really gauge on what you're really aiming for, if that can make any sense. And I could be 1,000% wrong, but I just think that the Cowboys, we give out so much information. It's drilled upon everybody. It's already watered down with the first take and second take and all of those other things. 205, you live.
What's up, Law?
What's up, Unc? What's going on with you?
Man, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
Man, one day at a time, one move at a time, brick by brick, I'm stacking these things together, man. Talk to me.
Man, how that little queen of yours doing?
Oh, my goodness. Man, she kept me up all last night, man. I thought I was a late night roller. Man, she woke up at 3, then go back to sleep to like 5, and then woke back up at 6. She was like, what's up, Dad? What's up?
Yeah, it's going to be a long ride with that. It's going to be a long ride with that player. So I feel you on that. But look, man, I know you got a lot of calls, man. I'm going to get to this come here. I just want to check on my queen, make sure she's all right. But look, man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. When Jerry Jones, when you say you a businessman, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? Why would you wait all the way to the 15th to do this with Dak Prescott? Like I said, when you want to show loyalty, you show loyalty. Like the other caller said, he saved his franchise. He saved it. Ain't nobody gonna let no Chad Henne quarterback. Ain't nobody searching for anybody else. We got the right man right now. Let me tell you something, Law. And I'm gonna make this real quick. I was a free safety in high school. The only reason I made the team because I had good hands. I wasn't good of a tackler, but I had good hands. Let me tell you something, man. We got a guy down here, Woodlawn. We had a school down here, Woodlawn High School. I was Jack Sola. Okay, so we had a running back was number 10 in the nation, and an offensive line was rated in the top 20. Well, I watched film. I watched film with the cornerbacks and safety. This guy used to hit the hole and always go left. Well, I wasn't the favorite. They played favorites back in high school, so I said, Coach, in the Jamboree game, put me in the game, Coach. Please put me in the game. Oh, okay, go on out there, Maple. Well, as I looked at the film, I knew this guy would come up through the hole and make a left. Well, I didn't finish the film quite good enough. I didn't know that big old offensive line was pulling around that right in, and this joker hit me in my face, and I saw pure white. You know, the weather outside is delightful. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Right.
By the time I woke up, my hair, my front of my face, man, was right around my head like Velveeta cheese. And let me tell you something, man. The next day, my career was over. I joined the choir, and I was the lead singer, and I was singing "There's a Bomb in Gilead."
Yeah.
Now, I want people out there to be careful with this COVID. This COVID is very, very, very crazy right now. Put your mask on. You wonder how you got the COVID. You show up at the doctor and you're naked. You got no mask. You got no clothes on, T-shirt and shorts. Well, yeah, that's how you got it. And I want to get from you. I want to ask you a question. Do you think this is bad business law? Then wait to the 15th to do this boy contract. And if so, Law, why do you think Jerry is doing this?
Well, we all know that everybody is talking about this. You know, they're not talking about the team that just won the Super Bowl. They're not even caring about Chris Jones, who just got his contract. They talking about the Cowboys. Yes, Jerry probably said, you know what, I might start negotiating with him on Monday, but we're going to let this Washington stuff talk. You know, they talk about changing the team over there in Washington land. So he didn't want to steal those headlines because he would have to battle through that. And today he probably said, you know what, I'm going to release. Oh, my goodness. Now they just signed Chris Jones. So we're going to wait till tomorrow. The deadline makes deals, and we're going to see. Now, if we talking about the Dallas Cowboys and we want to win the Super Bowl, why would you have $31 million cap hit, removing all of the chances and opportunity for you to sign somebody, opposed to putting, now I do know it takes two to tango, but why not give Dak Prescott his deal that he's looking for now so that you can take that money and go out there and get your dog, get your other players that can help elevate this team and get to this Super Bowl ring?
See, and it cold, and I appreciate that, man, because I've been struggling with that for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so have Cowboy fans been struggling. Why would Jerry just do this young man like this? And I want Dak for once. You know, I understand Dak don't want to rock no boats, but Dak, you need to turn it to one of them 1970 pimps. You need to turn it. This wouldn't go down in the 70s. Right. You know, you get hit with that straight razor one time. You got a haircut, and you got one time, and that was it. You need to start turning it into Willie the Pimp and get your money, because I'm getting sick of it, Lord. I don't have enough of it. It's making my teeth tight. I can't deal with it. But I just want to say, man, I love you, bro. I thank you doing humanity a great service by pulling people out of depression and making people focus on something else instead of saying, I got to worry about the light bill. I got to worry about the gas bill. I got to worry about this COVID. Thanks to you, brother.
Appreciate it.
You have changed people's lives and pulled me out of the darkness I was in. So I love you, bro, and that's what my thought today is.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes, sir.
In. Love you, man. Peace.
Yes, sir, bro. All right.
That's Uncle Charles right there, man. I know Bob said, that's my uncle. Hold on, that's my uncle. But I believe Uncle Charles is the nation's uncle. He belongs to everybody that represent that silver and blue. So that's Uncle Charles, man, always giving us some good information, intel, and he's the uncle for all of Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate everybody, man, for tuning in to this thing. Shout out to you, Joseph. Shout out to you, Larry Maxwell, that's over there on the Facebook groove. And Ronald Smith, man, really appreciate you. Shout out to you, Money Making Mall. And all of those who's tuning in to this thing, the phone lines will be closed unless you can get in for the next few seconds here. Cowboy Nation, I just want to say this, man. This situation as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys, will Dak Prescott get signed? Will he not get signed? Will he do this or will he not do that? Is all up to Jerry Wayne. Look, we can have our mental thought tracks on things, but the reality of it is that they the ones that held back and waited to the last hour to make these deals go by. They the one causes all of the pressure to be here. And pressure busts pipes. But don't you guys know that when you go into a car lot and you try to buy your car, and you're trying to purchase that car, you never want to leave that car lot like you was sold that car, right? You just like, man, that doggone rascal sold me this car. But you want to be able to go in there with a clear mind and a clear conscience to be like, man, that was the car I wanted. That was the car that I love. That was the car that I really like, you know. That was the car that I feel good in. And I think that what Jerry does, and there's nothing wrong with the strategy, but he takes that away from these players. Outside of maybe La'el Collins and Jalen. But he takes that away from us as it relates to the players. To go out there and say, hey, I'm worth this. And to go back and forth, well, I'm not playing. Well, I'm not doing this. It makes you feel different when you have to continually ask for these things. Now, I do know a closed mouth don't get fed, but sometimes, guys that's out there, if you really want to schmooze your lady, if you really want to have a great time with your lady, stop waiting for her to ask you for it and just go out there and do it, baby. Just go out there and say, baby, I'm buying you these roses because you ran across my mind. Don't wait for February the 14th. Don't wait for her birthday. Send her little messages thinking of you. Go out there and please your woman. And I'm not calling Dak Prescott a lady, but what I'm saying is that sometimes those small things that you do will take you a whole lot further. Or sometimes, I saw a clip the other day, Rihanna, when she was young. She went on some talent show. Boy, she sounded like some barking dogs that was hit by a brick. She didn't sound that well. She didn't sound good at all. One can argue and say, well, she still don't sound good. But somebody believed in Rihanna. Somebody sat Rihanna down and said, baby, you have the voice of angels. And it just took that person to continue to elevate. It's something about positive words. It's something about positive feelings. It's something about speaking life into somebody. It's something about looking at Dak Prescott from where he was at and sitting there saying that you was the 4th round draft pick, not the first out of the 4th. Charles Tapper, for crying out loud, was picked up before you. And all you did between the time frame of 2016 to now was win us games. Never had it and never got a chance to face a winless season. 8-8 was your worst output ever. And that was when you showed us your most. Nevertheless, yes, you're not Pat Mahomes. But the Cowboys should have paid Dak Prescott before he got into 2019. The craziest thing, you cannot put the toothpaste back into the tube. You cannot have kids out here, Cowboy Nation, and say that they trash and say that they suck and they can't do this and they can't do that. But can you imagine if you have kids out there and you sit them down and say that, oh, if their love is playing the piano and you know that they're difficult and struggling and playing that piano, and you sit there and say, oh, you're horrible. Oh, you're trash. Won't you stop doing it? Won't you stop doing that? What do you think that kid will eventually do? Stop it. They won't have that same admiration. They wouldn't have that same love because all they heard was you're horrible. You can't play the keys right. But even if they are at fault, even if they are at wrong, you sit there and say to your son or your daughter, I'm going to figure out if I can bring in the best student teacher to help you out. I'm going to put resources around you so that I know for sure that you will hit the right keys at the right moment. People fail to realize it's the small things. And all they did to renew the faith for these other quarterbacks that got their paper, for the Ryan Tannehills of the world, and said, okay, here's your $90 million after 8 games. Oh, Carson Wentz, you never won a playoff game, but here's your $110 million guaranteed because we have some type of love and adulation. We have the faith, so you wouldn't have to really worry about the situation for the fact that we drafted a Jalen Hurts behind you because you're going to get your $110 million. Regardless of the situation. Oh, they didn't go back and forth with that. Golf, we know how you started, but it's about how you finish. We're going to make sure we have the best coaching situation for you. Yes, you lost your a wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, last year. We're going to put this behind you and say, we got big money for you now. But it just so happened to be that when we have a Dak Prescott, you can't name me 5 other quarterbacks with more wins than Dak Prescott at this moment of time, even under the umbrella of Jason Garrett. But everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, can say this brother cannot hit water if he fell off a boat. It is what it is at this point. To me personally, I'm a bigger fan of the Cowboys than it is of Dak Prescott. But what's more disserving or disjustice to Dak Prescott were to be to not allow that kid to go test the free market. Oh, and also what hurt us as Cowboys fans, if you do not have your full love and adulation to that player, for you to put the tag on him and capture us as fans for $31 million. And if you don't have that same threat of going out there and using Dak Prescott to get multiple draft picks, but you say that you love this guy and you treat him just like your son, but you only gave him $31 million, and if he can go out there and twist the knee right now, and that's all he would get, go play the entire year, $31 million is all he would get. That don't sound right. It's kind of like Jay-Z saying, hey, Beyonce, I love you, baby, but check this out. Here's a promissory ring. Oh my goodness, I digress. For those who just tuning into this channel, man, my name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Y'all know how this thing go, right? We need to see some fire. Appreciate those who donated, man. Thank those who subscribed. Let's go. And like I said, I really have no fault in willing and dealing. If you want to do that, do that. Do just that, right? But don't play coy with the situation, right? You need to see some fire, baby. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all might want to write this down. Write this down. It's about desire, right? It's about the temperaments of your mind. It's about going through the triple darkness, but understanding that the light will show you the way. It's about this right here. How bad do you want something, right? They say if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap for it, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go after the thing you want, and sweat for it, and fret for it, and plan for it, and lose all terror of God or man for it. If you will simply, Oh, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your strength and capacity. Turn pertinacity. If neither cold, poverty, or fame, or sickness, or body, or brain can turn you away from the thing you want. If dogged and grim and besieged and beset it, with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, we will get it. Let's go get that Super Bowl. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Yeah. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Where we at?
This is Sparta!